Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be going over Samba, and I'm going to be showing you guys how you can actually make your own Samba file share in your actual own local area network. And pretty much what you need to know about Samba. Samba is a program that makes it possible for different types of computers and to share files, and it also works with printers and other things like that. You can also make it, if you have a printer, say for instance, that's only wired, and you want to have like a little zero Pi or something like that hooked up to it, you can actually set up Samba so that you can wirelessly connect to that Raspberry Pi and actually print right through it wirelessly. But that's not what I'm going to be going over in this video. What are we actually going to be going over in this video? Well, we're going to be setting up our own Samba file share. Like I said before, we're going to make our own NAS here. And the Samba file share that we are going to be setting up is going to be password protected. So that's one thing that's going to be a little bit of a benefit. Now, I still want to keep this in mind that you're going to want to still add some extra layers of security after this, but in it also depends on what kind of password you're going to be putting inside of here. It's going to be a real simple Samba file share setup. It's not going to be very difficult. It's just going to have a simple password that you're going to have to put in a username and password. And all this is I'm going to be going over inside of the terminal. You can see down here, pretty much we're going to make a share folder name using a SSD. And we're going to actually mount that to our system. So we're not going to be using the root partition to actually as the file share. And I'm going to show you how to set all of this up once we get inside of the terminal. You're going to see down here we're also going to be creating a new user, some other things, and go over some file permission stuff. So some stuff that I've went over in other videos. Some commands that you need to know. Well, first of all, we're going to obviously have to install Samba. So we're going to be doing sudo apt. You're not going to have to put the -get if you're on a more modern version of Ubuntu or any other Debian distribution. And sudo mkdir, which is just going to be making the file, and we're going to be putting that inside of mnt, and we're going to be calling it sda1. Sudo chmod, so this is going to be changing / modifying, so we're going to be putting pretty much open permissions on that file. You're not going to want to do that. You're going to be, I would suggest, pretty much making this directory owned by, for our instance, user SMB user. You're going to just make that the actual owner of that directory. That way you don't have that open to other people trying to snoop around in there if they ended up getting on a more open user on your Linux distribution. User add, so we're going to be actually adding that user inside of here. The -m and -s flag, and we're going to just be making that no login. And we're going to be making the group also, which is going to be SMB group. And we're also going to be changing the password, sudo smb passwd -a, and just going to be changing the password down here. And we're going to be having to hop inside of the config file, which is going to be inside of etc samba smb.config. We're going to be just using nano for that. And the valid user, we're going to be just putting smb user, and sudo service smbd restart. So I'm actually going to be using systemd. This is actually for an older version. I'm going to be using systemd as on my operating system, but I'm going to be doing sudo system control restart smbd. And this is actually what we're going to be putting inside the config file. Really easy, really simple. It's just going to be hopping inside of here with nano. So we're just going to be doing like that sudo nano etc samba smb.config, hopping in here, calling it the smb share. And we're going to be putting the shared folder, the path, and we're going to be making a browsable, read-only, no, because obviously we're going to want to write to this. And the valid user is going to be that SMB user. So I'm going to show you all of this inside of the terminal. So I do want to actually show you my little Raspberry Pi setup, how I actually have it hooked up, just so if you, it might help you guys get some ideas if you want that. So let me just hop over into that video right now. Alright, just wanted to show you guys real quick what my Samba file share setup is for the video. I just have a Raspberry Pi 4 here, and I have a 250 gig SSD that I have hooked up using this USB adapter, and it's just plugged right into my switch over there. And this is actually going to be what we're going to be using inside of the video. So I'll hop over inside of the terminal and actually show you how you set this up All right, now I'm inside of the terminal, so let's go ahead and start here. Let's just update. Alrighty. Now that I updated, let's just go and install Samba. So sudo apt install Samba. Yes, please. All right, now we're just going to add the user, SMB user. So let's just do a sudo add user and no create and home and disabled login and SMB user. Name, we're just going to be SMB user and just clear through all that. Yes, the configuration is right, and we're going to be making the group next. So sudo add group, SMB group. All right, yep. And now we're just going to make the primary group of SMB user SMB group. So sudo user mod -g and SMB group. Ooh. And SMB user. I think that's right. Yep, okay. Now we're just going to change the password. Sudo SMB passwd-a and call that SMB and say SMB user. Yep. I messed that up. There we go. Now. All right. And just type in your password. Now we're just going to make our directory here. So sudo mkdir, and we're going to just be making mnt sda1. Let's see if I have that there. Okay, I made this already. So let's just make shared underscore folder. And we're going to need a / here. Okay. Oh, I already have that. Okay. Thought I didn't. But you guys are going to have make them. So sudo chown -r SMB user SMB group. And now we're just going to be changing the owner of MNT SDA1 and shared folder. Okay, now if we ls-la into MNT SDA1, and that's good. Now you can see that we're actually the owner, or SMB user, and SMB group is the owner of this shared folder. Now let's just cd into etc and Samba. Now this is a config file right here. If I cat it out, they do have some examples here, and we're not going to actually use it, but you can actually see, just like I was talking about, you can add printers for this if you wanted to have a wireless, set up a wireless printer with a wired only printer. You can actually do that. All right, but right now we're just going to make a backup of that. So let's just do a sudo move smb.conf smb.conf.bk. Okay, you can see that we have changed that. Now we're just going to need I'm going to need to do sudo touch smb.conf. Now we're going to have to nano into there. smb.conf. Now this is where we're going to be putting that inside of our config file. So I'm just going to be calling this shared underscore folder. Closing that off. Comment. Just call it saying shared folder, and then the path that's going to be inside of mnt sdi1 and shared underscore folder, and we're going to make it browsable. Say yes. Make that not read only, and valid user SMB user. Okay, Let me double check that, make sure that looks good. Yep. Control X, yes, and enter. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. Now I can do a sudo system control restart smdb.service. Ooh, smbd, not db. There we go. Nice. Now we should have the Samba file share actually set up here. So let's just look inside of here. SDA1 and shared folder. Now we have some of this, so let's just remove these for the example of this video. All right. Oh, nice. What a noob. All right. Nice. Now we got the README inside of there. If you want to see if it's actually running, so you're going to do sudo, if you're on system D, which if you have a somewhat recent operating system, then you will. So it's going to be sudo system control, and then you're just going to put status, and then smbd, and put service, and you can see that we're actually running up here. Don't worry about this red down here. Looks scary, but it's nothing. So let's hop over into Windows. All right, now that we're inside of Windows, you are going to actually need the IP address of that Samba file share folder. If you don't know what the actual command is, all you're going to have to put in is IP or IP space ADDR, and you're going to actually see what your local IP address is. But if you're obviously logging in with SSH, that shouldn't be an issue. But I am going to actually show you real quick what it looks like whenever you do that. Okay. Right here, and you can see the actual IP address is right here for this, which this is going to be a little different just because this is actually a virtual machine here. But to actually find your Samba file share, you can see I already tested her out right here. You're going to be putting just 2 backward slashes and the IP address of your Samba file server that you just set up. So mine's going to be 10.69.69.142. Hit enter, and then it's going to pop up, and you can see our shared folders right here. We can head into here, and you can actually see you have the README inside of here. Okay, yeah. So we can also do, like, you know, type stuff inside of here. All right, there you go. And you can also make directories and all that fun jazz. Now for me, I had that 250 gig SSD, so I do have a lot of storage here that I can actually utilize. So, well, hey, thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time. If you guys want to leave a comment down there for any ideas that I can actually do inside of the future, I would be very interested to see what you guys have in mind, and I appreciate you guys watching. Come back next time. Peace.